Dang it, Harry! I had a whole thing started, and then it just now is gone. Welcome to episode 29 of Rapid Unscheduled Discussion. I am, of course, your host, Seth Kurkowski, and with me is Daryl Sausse.
Hey everyone, I'm Daryl Sausse, and joining us tonight, you all know him, you all love him, takes amazing pictures both on the pad and from far away. Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Cain. Thank you for joining us tonight.
One day we'll get a clap track going so it
Yeah,
won't be like weird after
one of
that.
these
How's it
days.
going? How's it going, everyone?
I had a
Glad to be here.
whole
Thanks for inviting me.
Well, thanks
Oh
for
man,
coming on. Happy to have you
yeah.
on. I had a whole intro ready, and all of a sudden I read Harry's joke, and I totally forgot it. I don't even remember what it is anymore. So, thank you, Harry, for ruining that, but in a special way.
Yeah. No, it's great to have you on. We haven't seen each other since
With IFA.
IFA.
Were you on the boat in IFA? You were on the boat in IFA. That's right.
Yeah. He
Yep.
was there with us. That was
Oh yeah.
that was a heck of a boat
I
trip.
love having people on from that day because it's just. I felt like we went through. We bonded together that day.
Yes, we did. That was rough, man.
Ooh.
How seasick were you, or were you not seasick at all?
I was borderline about to lose it.
Okay, good. So I wasn't the only one.
I know you. You lost it, didn't you?
I didn't. No, not over the edge. I didn't do that. But I was up by the captain, holding my legs, just rocking back and forth, like I'm gonna do it. It's gonna happen. And I'm like, there's a little window right here. I'll just do it. It'll be fine.
Just get it over with.
I didn't.
I was fine. I was solid as a rock.
I had to hand my camera over to Greg Scott, and I said, "Look, I can't even hold on to my camera right now. I'm like hurting right now." But I had a jacket on, so when I took my jacket off, I was like, "Oh, I felt so much better." I was
Yeah.
like sweating. I was just getting so hot.
Weirdly for me, it was I got Dramamine, which didn't really matter because it was too close to even work. It was just a placebo pretty much at that point. But sipping on Red Bull for some reason made me feel completely fine. And then
Yeah,
I
drinks,
saw you
man.
sipping on that Red Bull. I saw you drinking that Red Bull.
I was sipping the Red Bull. It was a double whammy. I was exhausted and I was sick, and I'm like, this somehow tastes really good right now. So I'm just gonna drink it, and somehow it's working. But
But after that launch, though, like everything went away. Like I was perfectly fine.
as soon as launch happened, I was like done. I was like, oh, I'm ready for this. All right, take pictures. Though I couldn't really do much because I wasn't used to the whole.
7-foot swells.
Yeah.
Zoomed
that
in
was-
at 500 millimeters with a moving rocket, trying to focus.
I was at 200. I didn't go any further than that because I couldn't keep it in my viewfinder if I went any further. And I'm terrible at hand holding in the first place.
Yeah,
They put me on a boat.
every time the rocket came in frame, I would click, 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 click. It was almost impossible.
High speed continuous was a good friend that day.
High speed continuous. You got to use that every time for launches.
For that,
you got to play the law of averages with launches.
Okay, you with your law of averages.
It works, don't it?
It does work for you. Well,
But
and then you also
look-
get the little wonky.
Yeah, high speed mode did something weird to my camera for
Did you
Mars
see that
2020.
photo that he took, Michael? From
No.
Mars?
Oh,
Pull it up.
Oh
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
With the bent rocket.
yeah.
It curved a little to the left and a little bit to the right. You know.
Yeah.
I don't even like. How is that even possible?
I don't. Some people have said it's a rolling shutter effect, but that's usually a thing with video.
So you were using the
That was
R and you had you had silent mode, so no shutter.
No shutter. It
So
was
it's electronic shutter. That
yeah.
might be that. It's probably that issue. It's probably the
Yeah.
It had to be that.
Yeah, it's probably.
But
It had to be.
It didn't do it to a lot of them. That a couple days ago, I think like middle to early last week, I put out a couple more weird ones. I know I did it on Facebook, and there were some you see like right at ignition and whatnot, that were definitely curved. But here's the funny thing: I can understand the one in the sky where I was tracking it and it would do that, but I was still, while it was still sitting there on the pad, and it still had one of them like that. So it's a weird effect, but I went with full silent mode because I was recording two videos on the same tripod. So I was tracking everything, and I've learned from experience that even with a really smooth, soft curtain on the EOS R, it still shakes the videos no matter what you're recording. So that's why I went with the full silent mode, and I still came away with some great stuff. I'm not disappointed. I'm going to use it again, and that's going to be my funny pictures that I put out for every launch now.
There you go. There you go. Now you get the wild shots you're going to get. You never know.
Oh yeah, that's going to be my new thing off to the side. Me trying to break the rockets.
Well, I did a whole practice setup for it as well because I actually want to like do video tracking. I want to practice tracking because if we ever do a live stream, if it's only one of us out there, we need to do photos and live stream at the same time. So, well, at least I do. I want to. So I did a little practice thing. And I'm like, I'll be using. There's no way I can use the viewfinder and also watch the other video camera. So I'll just do silent shutter, and we'll see how that goes as well. Speaking
of phones and things like that, you've been having some great success with some experimenting lately. You want to touch on that a little? I know you don't want to give away all the secrets. I wouldn't ask you to, but if you want to touch on how that's been going for the folks at home.
So I'll share a little bit here. So the challenge I have is
hold on, let me get my notepad.
The vibration. I'm actually taking video, not phone, not pictures, and then I just take a snapshot of the video.
Makes sense.
Okay. You take stills out of the video.
Yes.
Okay.
And the video, because of the rocket, it's shaking the whole camera. So a lot of the stills are warped. So it may look fine right here, but then another part of the image will then be a little warped. So it was very hard to find any still image within the whole video that I could actually get as a decent. So I literally had to comb frame by frame and said, okay, this one is clean enough where it doesn't look warped and most people aren't even going to realize the difference. And then I can then put it into Lightroom and do a little bit of touching up and then send it off.
Oh, Lightroom's the best.
So right now I'm working on like, how can I stabilize it better? What can I do? I've gotten it to shoot.
Mm-hmm.
I've got it to not overfill my camera. I've got it to withstand the heat. And, you know, obviously it survives 9 hours. The last time I did it, it was out on the pad for 9 hours and it was on the whole time. So a lot of different challenges I had to figure out every single way how I'm going to account for that. And the shaking has gotten better, but it's not where I want it to be yet.
Mm. So are you looking at using some kind of physical stabilization? Because I'm assuming you're already trying to use the built-in stabilization.
So right? Seth, try to put up my other screen here, and I'll show you a picture of the setup, and then we can kind of talk about it.
I think you're in now. Oh wait.
All right.
Wait. Okay, now you can share screens now. I always think there's no default setting to let everyone share screens right at the start.
Okay. Let's see if this loads, and then everyone can see. Pinch out for bigger. Okay.
Oh.
Can you see this?
Yeah.
Yeah. We can. Oh yeah, it comes up fine on the stream too.
Yep.
Perfect. So obviously this is 39A. You see the rocket back there.
Mm-hmm.
I have a tripod that holds the phone, and then I have another device that holds the fan, because I can't get the iPhone to overheat, so I need a way to cool it. But the fan would shake the whole tripod when I had the fan hooked
Is that
to
just
the
a
tripod.
piece of rebar you stuck into the ground?
Yeah, I had a sledgehammer and rebar.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Ooh, whatever works.
Whatever works, man.
Hammer it down, and then I go ahead and put in this. I have this little arm thing. That's a badass contraption that my neighbor gave me, and then I rigged a little fan to the end of it and just picked it up at Walmart. Hopefully, I can get a better one. And then I get the fan. So now the fan and the tripod are two separate. So now the fan won't vibrate the video. So that was a big change that I did for the video. But it's still, when the whole box moves, it's moving the phone too.
Mm.
So any wind, any of the vibration from the rocket, it's caused the whole video just to shake. It's just not as stable as I want it to be.
And is it up and down shaking, like up, like?
Well, let's watch it.
Does it shake like left, right, diagonal, everything?
Probably all over, considering, you know, what it's close to. I would imagine.
Because you can get a 3-axis gimbal, but that won't take out, like, the thing holding the gimbal to go up and down either. If, like, the actual gimbal itself is vibrating.
Here, I don't know if you can watch the video and how it's going to work.
It'll be probably a little choppy on the stream, but it'll be fine. We'll get the idea.
Ooh,
but it's
VLC. Like, nice.
It's like it's warping the whole screen, and it's like minute shaking. It's just like tremors. So I don't know if you see it, but I actually posted it on my Facebook page.
Gotcha.
The Cold Life Photography page. I went ahead and I shared that video. But that's similar to what I did with the other one. So I tried to get some still shots of this one, but because it's so dark, the noise and distortion and the quality, just the stills weren't very good at all.
Yeah.
So I wasn't very pleased with that. But I went ahead and what was that launch that I did it with? Was it GPS? Yes. So here's some stills. So this one came out pretty good. I was very happy with this still, and like I said, I had to comb through a lot of images for this. And then I have.
That's from the video, or is that from remote? Like a remote?
This is a video. This is from a still from a video.
Nice. Dang, that looks good.
Wow.
So here's the same one. This is slightly different edits. This is probably the best one that I found, so that's the only one I really bothered with. But here's a couple other still shots. Hold on.
Hashtag shot on iPhone.
So this is right off the pad. This is right off the pad. So before any of the vibration was introduced, I get that initial launch. But I mean, obviously, I'd rather get more of the flames and more, a little higher up, more action going on here. So I got, like I said, you can see a little bit of the distortion when I toggle back and forth from image to image here. It doesn't look bad when you look at the image by itself, but when you start to go in across the different images, you can see like the fence gets a little bit fatter, or the rocket gets a little bit this way, or the lightning tower gets a little out of shape.
I saw it when you swapped them, like one of the lightning towers kind of jumped sideways.
And they don't look bad on their own. They don't look bad on their own, but when I'm going through these images, I'm trying to get the best one that I can find. So I only found a couple that I was actually happy enough with that I would share. And other than that, like here's the video. Let me show you. This one was super. So I've made some improvements since this one. Like this is insane vibration. It's almost like the whole camera's just going to fall apart. It is this, but we're also a whole lot closer because this is at Launch Complex 40. 39A, dang. I was really far out.
Dang. Like we're only getting bits and pieces. Like it's coming for me. It's coming across like a smidge choppy. But wow,
good. It looks really good.
But no, I could see what you're talking about. How it like jumps around and warps and whatnot. That's wow.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
That's a problem that I didn't think would be an issue with remotes, but you found it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I noticed when I had the way my fan was hooked up, I noticed it was slowly shaking, and it was causing the camera to take more and more video. And I'm like, why is this shaking? I was like, I had to. And then I hooked up the fan another way, still shaking. I hooked it up another way, still. And then I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna put them in 2 separate tripods or 2 separate mounts, and then leave it alone. Like now they're independent of each other, and it works. So I mean, these are all the concepts, right? Like how do I get it to even last this long? How do I get it to even capture the video? How do I get it to? So there's a lot of hurdles, and then all these unexpected things you come up with. So I've been able to. So far, I set it up 3 times, and I was successful twice. So far, things are going good. I just need to come up with a way to stabilize it.
Man, I tell you what, with the stills, if you wouldn't have told me that it was shot on an iPhone instead of a actual DSLR, can't tell the difference. Really can't. That speaks volumes to how awesome this is turning out for you.
Has anyone from Apple said anything?
No.
Oh.
Because
Oh.
John Krause got an email from Tim Cook. Well, someone from Tim Cook's office,
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah, and
Well, probably-
I think he's gotten response twice.
Yeah.
I emailed Tim, but maybe I was a little too strong on my verbiage.
Look at this fucking rocket. It's amazing. Hashtag shot on iPhone.
That is cool.
I'm hoping to get it better, and then to get, I didn't like the framing that I did on that first one.
Mhm.
So I want to do better framing. I want to get just, obviously work on that vibration, even if it is a little bit because of the intense shock, then I'm okay. But if I can get a couple of good stills out of that, then I'll be happy.
Oh yeah.
And like I said, it's just an extra camera. I mean, I'm going to worry about my DSLR's primary objective. But if I have a spare time, then hey, why not throw it out there and see what I can get?
Nice.
So.
Yeah, it's totally
Nice.
nuts. Super,
Really
super
impressive.
Cool. How long have you been doing photography?
My first launch was 3 years ago in August, but I've been doing photography for maybe about 4 years.
And what got you into that? Like exactly, like what made you want to do photography?
So, for a long time, I've always kind of I've always loved photography, but I never actually, I used to own like a point and shoot a long time ago, and they didn't really, DSLR was kind of like wedding photographers, only professionals.
Yeah.
But now that now that Nikon and Canon, they kind of made their lower end models, and more people have been going the DSLR route, and then obviously iPhones and stuff like that have been making headway and chipping away at the DSLR market. But I mean, a part of me has always loved photography, and I remember one time I was talking to my wife, and she asked me like, "What are your hobbies?" And I was like, I said I like to dabble in photography, and she just starts busting out laughing. It's like, what do you mean you dabble in photography? You don't do anything with photography. And I said, okay, well then I'm gonna go buy myself a DSLR. So
nice.
So I went ahead and I went all in, and I bought myself a high end, not pro, but it's like intermediate.
Yeah.
I didn't want the bare minimum. I wanted something that actually has some nice features and stuff like that. And from day one, I went straight manual, and I had the back button focusing set up, and I literally would search Orlando and events and things that are going on just to come up with excuses to go out and shoot. And then I just kept shooting. The more I did it, the more I learned, and it's self-taught. I watched some YouTube videos. That was it.
Nice.
And 3 years ago, I saw my first launch, and since then, I've seen 49 launches.
Dang.
Wow, I lost track of mine. I stopped counting. My first launch was Demo 2. Was not Demo 2, sorry. Falcon Heavy Demo. Oh, like, wow, no, not Demo 2. Yeah, Falcon Heavy Demo. And I stopped counting. Like I never even. I don't think I really counted. I just kept going.
I gotta go back and double check. I'm not even sure if I'm in double digits yet.
I'm pretty sure I'm in double digits because that was what. Almost. Well, that was what was that? That wasn't 3 years ago.
February of 2018.
Two and a half
Falcon
years
Heavy.
ago. 2.5 years ago. So
I mean, give me some credit. My proximity to Florida is
for where you are. You've gone to way more than what you should have to be.
Yes. So
for the normal human being.
Plus, I see Pegasus and Rocket Ship way more often than you do, Seth.
Yeah, shut up. You've seen him, anyone who's seen him once has seen him way more than I have. All right. The one time Rocket Ship was down here in Port Everglades, I was in Michigan. The one time I was down here, I was in a perfect place to get pictures. It was in. And that was the time Julia texted me. She's like, "Oh, you should go. Like, it's there. Get pictures." I'm like, "I'm not in Florida." Dang it.
So, Michael, besides rocket launches, what else do you normally shoot?
I like to do astrophotography. So I usually go camping twice a year in one of the darkest skies in Florida, which isn't saying much, but I go there and I get what I can of Milky Way. And I like to do, in between, I'll do some star trails. If there's a meteor shower, I'll try and go and shoot that. The solar eclipse, I shot that. I went to Chattanooga, Tennessee, and I shot that. And then the lunar eclipse, we had a really good viewing here about a year and a half ago from Florida, clear skies. It was an awesome experience.
Mhm.
So I love astrophotography. And then literally the day before the solar eclipse, I went ahead and I just, out of a whim, I bought my 500 millimeter lens. And I didn't even have a filter on it. I had to rig a filter on it just to do it. And there was actually a defect with it. I had to get it repaired. So my shots of the solar eclipse weren't as sharp as I like it to be.
Oh,
But
man.
once I bought this lens and owned it, I'm like, okay, what am I going to do with this 500 millimeter lens? You know, there's only so many things you can do with it, you know?
Yep.
And well, obviously rockets is one, but other than that, like, I'm not going to take photos of my family with a 500 millimeter lens.
Right.
I mean, you could if you were weird.
You could from the other end of the street.
Yeah.
So I started doing wildlife. So I ended up going to some different wildlife management areas and birding spots here in Central Florida. I've learned almost every bird species we have. And honestly, that's one thing that I like about photography is like, I meet so many different amazing people on all the different adventures and things I like to do. So when I do astrophotography, I have a group of guys that I go and do astrophotography with. When I do wildlife photography, I already know the spots and I know all these different people that I go meet up with. And I go, like, oh, I'm going to go shoot eagles and I'm going to go shoot ospreys and I'm going to go on an airboat ride and go see these endangered species, like all these things like that. Like, I love it. And then when I shoot rockets, then obviously I go to the coast and I meet up with all those guys and it's just
Those
amazing.
are the best guys. Those are the funnest guys. We wild, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are. Look at us. We're going out on boats in 7-foot seas and whatnot. Yeah, we wild.
We're fine. We're crazy.
We do some crazy. I don't know.
I've been thinking about getting into like birding and like nature photography because I was doing sunrise photography for a while until like the beaches got too packed. And I'm like, maybe not a smart decision to keep going there. But there's a little spot on the beach down here at Deerfield Beach that they have actually like shut down to like so birds can like do stuff there, but you can walk around it on the beach. And so there's always these two people every morning who go there and they with the 600 millimeter lenses. They're not young.
Yeah.
They're not young either, and I'm surprised that they're doing that freehand. And
it's like, a lot of old people. A lot of old people.
And they're there every morning. I'm like, and on weekends, like I don't. That's around like 6. It's like that's like 7:30 a.m. around the time. Like I'm not doing anything. I might as well join them. Bring my 600 out. Well, not the big 600, but like the Tamron. But like.
Dude, they got some amazing spots here in Central Florida. They got Circle B Bar Reserve. They got Lake Apopka Wildlife Drive. They got Orlando Wetlands, the Vieira Wetlands.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just so many different places.
I have a cousin's sibling, cousin's wife's sibling, whatever, that does boat tours on the Everglades. And it's, I need to go on that. I need to like have him take me out on the Everglades because that would be interesting to see. Because I've never been in the Everglades. I see it over the sawgrass when I drive on the expressway that like borders the Everglades. I've peered over. That's it. I haven't done anything more. So
a good night sky in Everglades. Get some astrophotography.
Plenty of alligators.
That's where you go for your astrophotography stuff.
No, I've never gone that far south. I usually go to Kissimmee Prairie Preserve. It's about 2 hours from me.
Okay.
It's not really in Kissimmee. It's actually in Okeechobee in the middle of nowhere. But it's amazing. It's like it's a huge prairie. It's awesome spot to go.
Where like does it? Disney's not really in Orlando.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where does that spot fall on the Bortle scale? I gotta ask for me and Harry because we do astrophotography as well. Not so much me during the summer.
I've never actually looked it up, but I can tell you it's at least 3.
I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Dang.
We've gone to a conversation I don't know anything about.
It's just a measure of how dark the sky is.
Okay.
And the lower the number is better, I believe, right?
Yes.
Daryl?
Yeah, the lower the number is better.
So it's like golf.
Yeah, there you go.
Sure. We'll go with that.
So I went to shoot the comet. Actually, I took an awesome shot that I love of the comet not too long ago, and I went to Ocala National Forest because the comet was northwest of us. I had to go above or past Orlando to get away from that light pollution. So I drove up 2-hour drive with my dad to Ocala National Forest in the middle of nowhere, and it was a Bortle 3, and I could see it with my eyes. So it was faint, but it was epic, and we saw this massive black bear 20 minutes before we got to our spot. It was one hell of an experience. My dad and I really enjoyed it. It's awesome, man.
I still can't believe Florida has bears. Like, can y'all save some of the crazy wildlife for the rest of us?
We have all the crazy people and all the crazy animals. It's a melting pot of the entire world. Just all right here.
Melting for sure with the heat.
We're gonna get the murder hornets next. They're gonna skip all the other states and come for vacation and just stay.
Oh,
yeah, I can't wait. It's gonna be fun. The lead photographer at my church that I shoot for, he does that. He's a full-time photographer for nature photography, as well as he shoots like surfers out like he'll swim out there and he has the whole like 100% like waterproof casing for like his 5D that he has, and he goes out there and in his swimsuit, like in like like a scuba suit, he goes out there and like photographs like the surfers and like the wildlife out there, which is crazy. And I need to go out with I need to go with him because he does crazy stuff. There's photos of him like 2 inches away from an alligator. I don't know why. That's a little stupid, but like he likes it. So
are you sure he was literally 2 inches away and not just with
there's a picture of him who's taking the picture of like it's like it, and he's like it's like sitting in the water and he's sitting there like maybe not 2 inches, but probably like maybe like a foot away. And I'm like I asked him like what's the story with this? It's like, well, I usually bring my 70 to 200 out, but I dropped it in the water.
Oh.
And it wasn't work. It was. He apparently had it like closed off, but like it was like I didn't have the thing to clean it, so I was stuck with my 24 to 70. I needed to get real close.
Man.
Yeah.
No.
He's crazy, but yeah. So we actually had a busy week this last week because we were on last. We didn't get to talk about a lot. We didn't really get to talk about DM2 last week, did we? About the return, because we had the great episode with Barry talking about outreach and Citizens of Space, but DM2 landed last Sunday. We had Starship Hop, which I totally wasn't cheering and jumping around my apartment when it took off.
No, nobody was. Everybody just did a polite golf.
Yeah, it was snapping, like at a poetry club, snapping.
It was pretty cool though.
That was insane.
It was weird.
It was.
And then I don't know which feed you guys were watching. I was watching the next space flight.
Yeah,
I believe that was their feed. Yeah, and and they had obviously all the smoke covered it, and you don't know if it landed.
Yeah.
So then eventually you start to see that silhouette, and like, holy shit, it landed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I had both Tim Dodds and NSF's on, and Tim's had a different angle. One which I never. This is the first time I watched his streams, so I only watched NSF's, and it looks like Starhopper is like right next to everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's so far away.
Yeah, it is.
It's like it's weird how one perspective changed, and it's like it's probably like a football field away.
Yeah, it is.
So yeah, no, that one it went behind the clouds, so you could see the entire time.
Yeah.
And it was
and they were even saying on NSF, well, I don't hear a bang, so that's a good sign. That's a good sign, right? And it's true.
Yeah, no one's running, so.
Dude, that's wild with the police sirens and all the sirens going off to let everyone know.
Well, I think isn't Mary the only one left in the village? It's like maybe one or two people.
Close to it.
So,
Close to it.
Yeah, the siren just let 2 people know. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
It was weird too. Like for some reason, I thought it was like, I don't know if I misheard something on a previous broadcast or if I just wasn't paying close enough attention on a previous one. I thought it was like your typical air raid siren, not just the police driving up and down the street wailing on the siren.
You think they had the money for that, bro? Come on. Yeah, just take the sheriff car
it's
around.
It's an aerospace company.
No, it's fine. It's fine. The deputies got it.
Yeah.
I imagine every time they talk about the sheriff, I imagine there's actually only one sheriff. Because I know I had a roommate in college who like his sheriff's department was one person. That's how small his town was. One person for policing.
Wow.
Because they only had one stoplight in their town.
Wow. No thanks.
Yeah.
And it was a farm town. Like no one. It was just that tiny. People drove tractors everywhere. No one drove their cars. But Yeah, I always imagine that's what's like just one sheriff. And like, it's like he's probably like 60, been doing it his entire life. He has no idea what's happening. But he goes, oh yeah, whatever. Let me rank this old siren in a like 67 Corvette.
Was it one of the
Sheriff's-
hand crank ones?
Oh yeah, you hand crank it. You know, put
You
the
gotta
light on
hand
top.
crank the siren.
Yeah, that's how I imagine it.
Jeez.
I probably it's nothing like it, but I wish
Oh,
it
no.
would be. I hope
Not at all.
that's how I imagine.
Not at all. And then SpaceX ended up giving the entire company a day off. It's like we brought 2 living beings home, we flew a grain silo, and we put more Starlinks up. Everybody take a day off. You
Yeah.
earned it.
Too much
You
space
earned
for
it.
1 week. Too much. Everyone just take a break.
It's like everybody at all their locations, all their major locations, knocked it out the park that week. You know what? Take a day off. Of course,
That's
down
awesome.
in Boca Chica, they had to wait for that thing to kind of detank itself. It was a slow process actually. They had to let the cryogenic propellants actually just boil off on their own, from what I understand.
Well, they still have to light the ignite the methane. They can't let that boil off. So there's probably just the liquid oxygen though. Oh no, Daryl's frozen. Oh wait, he blinked. Wait, is Daryl coming back? This happens every so often, and it's great. It's so suspenseful. Hey, he's back. How's it going, Daryl? How was your trip?
Hi. I figured y'all would go on without me.
Oh no, we'll wait. No, I figured if you would have, it would have been bad. You would have dropped from the call. So.
God, I can't wait till my new Mac gets here.
Oh,
Lord.
that was great.
I just shelled out for one of the brand new ones. Like I was shopping around and I came across this and I'm like, and I showed it to Seth and Zach Hall and I'm like, what do you guys think of this? And Zach says, oh, you're looking at getting the one that literally just came out today? I'm like, wait, what?
Wait, what?
Okay. Shows you how much I
Colin.
pay attention to Apple stuff. But yeah, I did. It should be here in like another week and a half.
Now
when it's
you just gotta
actually
get that
start shipping.
iPhone. Wait, if you use the Mac,
I love my Android. I'm sorry.
it's so bad. It's so terrible.
It is not. You've seen my video. You wanted to use the audio from one of my launch videos from it.
Yeah, you got lucky because mine didn't work. And all the
You're
other ones
hot.
that you going, oh my, too loud. That's what he did, by the way. Were you there at the Mars 2020 launch or no?
Me?
Yeah.
Was I there at the launch? Of course I was there at the
Okay.
launch.
That's what I
Come
wasn't
on,
sure.
Seth.
I was just wondering if you were there or not. I don't know.
How
Maybe
dare
he
you,
had
Seth?
other commitments. All right.
This is too big of a mission
I
to
didn't
have
have
other commitments
remotes,
for.
but I was at the Causeway.
All right. So I'm like, he's not two single dudes like us, right? He might have other things that might come up. You know, he's an actual adult. Kids, and he has a whole family, and not like, yeah, come on.
I made an effort to
Wow.
be out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was an awesome launch. Right on time. Couldn't ask for more.
Oh god, that
It-
weather was beautiful,
the rocket-
especially for middle of summer in Florida.
Yeah,
That
it
was a
wasn't that bad.
beautiful
The
morning.
bugs weren't that terrible, actually. It was actually
Nope.
kind of enjoyable for once. For once in an early morning launch, the bugs weren't terrible.
Except those little sticker things that you and I were cleaning off our pants. later
Oh
on.
yeah, that
I'm
took
still
like
finding them.
that took like
I'm
almost a
still
half
finding
hour.
them. Those
Uh,
things are awful.
But the right at liftoff, I just hear Daryl just goes, "Oh my."
It was
he had three
it was pretty emotional.
we
I
had
guess
what
is the word.
we had 5 videos going because he had 3. He had like one with his one of his cameras, his GoPro, and his
5D, and Pixel 4.
phone. Zach had video. I think Zach had video as well. I had video, but my audio. I learned that. Oh, PSA to everyone. The Canon Victor RHF R800 doesn't. You have to use powered mics. You can't use non-powered mics. So that
Okay.
sucks. Because I spent $100 on the Rode Video Mic Go, thinking that it would work with that, and didn't work. So, oops. But
You can you can still use
No
it on a
t-
DSLR.
I can
No
use it on other
testing
things.
prior.
No, I
What?
just assumed that it would work because like
Seth.
it says it works with all the other cameras. I'm like, yeah, it'll work with the Canon. Why not? And then
That Honestly, I probably would have made that mistake as well.
I'm like, it works with the DSLRs. It should work with the Canon.
That right there is an
camcorders.
honest mistake to make.
Yeah, well, because it also works with the prosumer and the professional series camcorders, but not the consumer low level camcorders.
Mm.
So I just bought myself a Rode shotgun mic as well, and the reason being is with my secondary camera, I've been wanting to shoot a little bit of video, but that camera actually got water damage. That's the one that I had at the pad, and the water came in through the lens and onto the sensor. So the microphone the built-in microphone stopped working. So I said, well, maybe I can hook in an external mic, and then I can still get video and then get actually better sound than the internal mic, anyways.
Yeah.
So I spring for a really nice Rode shotgun mic, and I set it all up. Nothing. The thing just does not work. It takes great video, no audio. Period.
What?
Is the phone jack maybe not working?
The what?
No, it's
The phone jack.
It's
the
the
audio jack.
the other issue that I have with this camera is that I'll take a photo in landscape, and it'll come through as portrait. And then also the screen itself is discolored. So whatever I shoot, it doesn't actually, the colors are off. But other than that, the photos turn out great. I just got to rotate them.
That sounds like a great camera for like real close shots to an Atlas, like right next to where the right next to the SR, like,
yeah,
right in the path of the exhaust.
Send it home, yeah. Give it.
That's the only way it needs to go out. Just set it right at the exhaust port.
Yeah, that's a perpetual pad camera right there.
You know what? Ask me if you can do like it under the rocket. You know, like I want to get a picture of it igniting in the actual combustion
There you
chamber.
go.
As long as the carbs
I just need
survive.
a lens to go with it. Yeah.
Yeah, as long as you stake it in good enough, it'll be fine.
Just take it down.
Just take it down far enough, you'll be fine.
I mean, seriously though, the photos still come out really good. So I'm excited that it's not a total waste. As soon as Nikon comes out with a pro mirrorless, I'm gonna buy that one. And then my main, my yes, I do.
I was gonna ask at some point.
Back in the waiting room you go. Right, this is the Cain only podcast.
Seth, we don't do that to the guests. Just me.
Sorry. That's only
that's only my primary will then be my backup, and then the one that I ruined with the water damage, that'll be launch pad only.
You know, if you
camera,
really want a really nice mirrorless, the Canon R5 just got announced. Able to be ordered.
It is nice. I give them credit. Canon has really stepped it up.
And they have a full fledged of RF glass. That's the only thing they're really waiting for. I think is what, the 100, the 500. They have the trilogy. They have 600 and 800, which, okay, it's at f11, but
well, they have the adapter. That's all you need.
Every review I've seen of the 600 and 800 f11 they're amazing.
They even have the adapter with a drop-in ND filter, which I think is pretty cool.
The control ring. I don't know what I'm doing with my hands, but it's the control ring.
And the control ring, yes.
I've never used it. I have no idea what it does.
Whatever you want it to.
I have thought about actually getting the A7S, like the first edition one, because they're relatively cheap. But I'm like, I can't do it. I can't buy Sony.
You're so invested.
Once you go with
one ecosystem and everything's all swappable, like it's so hard to switch. I did hear that like people who do switch ecosystems, they actually switch like every 10 years or something like that, they may switch. But I mean, I have the 200 to 500. I just picked up the 70 to 200, which is phenomenal. The Nikon 1 3rd edition, and I also have the 14 to 24. So I almost have the trilogy. But then it's so hard, man. I got 5 camera bodies now, and I'm already ready to pick up the next one. As soon as they get a pro mirrorless one, then I'm ready to just move on over and kind of retire some of the other stuff and have more pad cameras.
So when you say you got 5 bodies, how many of those do you keep as just sacrificial lambs for the pad, and how many would you actually shoot with? Like for doing anything?
My T6 is my sacrificial lamb. As soon as I get a R5 or R6, that's it. Sacrificial.
So when I got my credentials for my first launch, I literally just dropped all this money and I bought two low-end Nikon cameras just to put out at the pad, because I talked to some of the other guys, and Brady, I believe, he uses low-end Nikons, puts them at the pad, hooks up his MyOps triggers, and calls it a day. I mean, once you sometimes you can see a little bit more hot spots, or the megapixels isn't as high, but honestly, 5 years ago or 10 years ago, a lot of the DSLRs that were out, like 4 megapixels was crazy. You know what I mean? Like now we're like 20 and 30 and 60.
45,
you can print a poster size with a 20 megapixel camera. You don't need, people don't understand the concept of megapixels. Like, you got plenty of megapixels. You know what I mean? You're fine.
Yeah.
So I have these low-end Nikons that I just put at the pad, and I don't care about.
Mm-hmm.
The trigger is almost worth more than the camera itself.
Yeah.
So,
those things are great, but damn it, about $200 a pop. Good lord.
Yeah, when they go back down to 50% off, they were earlier this year. They were 50% off. I should have bought one, but
if anyone wants to buy my ops, you buy it through me. I'm an affiliate. Thank you. I'll give you the link.
Hey, can we get the kickback?
I literally want to buy at least 2 more. I'll
give you a portion of the kickback because you guys are cool.
Yay, like $2.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. All of the MyOps triggers bought by launch photographers is putting somebody's kid through college. Like, whoever founded that company, we're single-handedly putting their kid through college.
Rocket launches and weather photographers, because don't they have the light? That's how you trigger for lightning, right?
Yeah.
Yes. And I've done it. It's amazing.
Yeah, between those two photographers, that's it. It's like all.
I've done it too, but I do need practice with it. I do need practice with it. Like, I swapped it from one body to the other, and it worked fine. But the first one, it was just it was just slow.
This last Starlink launch, 1 a.m. or 1:12 a.m. launch, I wanted to do more streak shots. I didn't want to get all these pad shots. Mm-hmm. So I only set up 2 at the pad, but I brought the wrong one. So I had all this set up in my garage. I had all the cameras ready to go. I picked up 2 to set up at the pad, and I picked up the wrong one. Mm-hmm. And I left the one that I didn't want to leave, obviously. So I get to the pad, and I'm like, crap, I brought the wrong camera. So I'm like, obviously, you got to do what you got to do and make it work. So no big deal. So the idea was that I have 3 setups for a remote camera setup at the pad. I only put 2 because I wanted to do additional streak shots, because we haven't had a lot of night launches lately.
Yeah.
So, and what I wanted is, when I do a night launch, I usually have 2 or 3 cameras right next to me, almost the exact same shot every time. Mm-hmm. So what I wanted was, like, I want to get a streak shot different than the other streak shot. If I'm going to shoot 2 or 3 cameras, I want to have different perspectives and different compositions. So what I did is I used my MyOps, and I programmed it to shoot an hour and 10 minutes later, and it fired right at time of the launch, took the 6-minute exposure, got my streak shot at 5 miles away from where I was. And then as soon as I finished everything, I packed up all my stuff, and then I drove 5 miles down the road, and I picked up that camera. I literally left this camera in the middle of nowhere.
So wait, this wasn't a ped cam. This was one.
No.
Oh.
In Titusville.
Wow.
In Titusville.
Faith. Dude.
Oh, was this the one that was the Max Brewer Bridge in the shot?
Let me screen share, and I'll show you the shots that I did.
I'll bring your guy back in. Michael Cain Part 2.
Yes, sir. All right, screen share. Here we go. Share. All right, so here is where I was. This is where I was physically. And I actually had 2 camera bodies, but I couldn't find the wired trigger. So I was actually really upset because I didn't have the wired trigger with me to fire the other one. So what I did is I set it up to take a photo every second. And it took a huge sequence of images, but it was too dark to really do much with it. So I have the images. Maybe I'll do something one day. I don't know. But this is my one image. Very happy with it.
Oh yeah, that's pretty.
You know, the palm tree is a little awkward in there, but you know what? It works.
It looks like
This one,
never mind.
This one I skewed it. I actually used a Photoshop skew feature to slide it in and make the streak a little bit bigger. So it's a little bit of a transformation that I did to the image.
Oh, I know.
It's
I
the
know.
same image,
Off,
just-
though. It looks normal still.
Yeah,
It
and
looked
it
like
kind
you
of
did
cleans up
anything.
the perspective. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's small, but it kind of makes makes the streak a little bit more profound
Yeah.
and more center and stuff. So I didn't really share this one out, but I did the skew just to do it. But anyways, prior, about an hour and a half before the launch or 2 hours before the launch, I'm setting up this camera, and this wasn't the one that I wanted. I was supposed to have another camera with me, but I accidentally took it to the pad. So I'm trying to do this infinity focus on this cheap camera with a cheap lens, and I was really frustrated because it doesn't have an easy way to do it. So I literally finally got it. I sat there for like 45 minutes trying to get infinity focus. I don't even know if I still got it, but I got close. And then I literally stashed this hidden in hoping that no one would see it, because you know
That's
a lot of
crazy,
people,
dude. That's crazy.
a lot of people venture out at night
Yeah.
to see these launches, and I know the spot that I went to that people go there. So I'm like, okay, well, let me hide it behind this tree and stuff like that. And plus, I also had my black bag that I use for waterproofing at the pad. It's like a little trash bag that I had. So I figured the black bag would kind of hide it more, and any lights on that are on it would prevent it from being seen. So I hit it, and then I almost forgot about it. I was driving, and you're already focused on ready to head home or whatever, and I'm like, oh crap, I gotta go get this other camera that I just left. So I came to it. I wasn't super excited about the shot, but it was a different perspective. It was different because apparently a lot of people went to where I went at the Max Brewer Bridge. So I mean, I ended up seeing like 3 or 4 different compositions, almost exactly like mine. I'm like, well, crap. So I was a little excited at having something different, and I had 2 different streak shots from different places. I mean, honestly, I wouldn't mind doing more. If I can be more confident in hiding my cameras in spots that aren't going to be found, because it's $1,000 at a minimum of all that gear.
And like,
Oh yeah.
in like 5 years, like you're gonna when you have 20 cameras spread out along the entire Space Coast, and you're posting 20 streaks, and everyone's like, "What is he doing? How is he getting these many streaks? Is he like omnipresent? Like, what is happening?"
Yeah, it was infinity focus, and then I had to get the framing, and then I had to figure out the time difference of when it was at that time versus when the launch is going to happen, and then I had to once I got it all programmed, I'm like, all right, well, I mean, it is what it is. It's the best I can do. I was running out of time, and I needed to get over to Max Brewer Bridge to get ready for the other cameras. So I said, hey, let's see what happens, and sure enough, it worked. So hey,
that's crazy that it worked.
Man,
That's amazing.
how scary is it doing that mental math with the time? Because we had to do that for Mars 2020 on one of the cameras.
I mean, it's a Starlink launch, so it either launches on time or it doesn't. So I felt good about the instant launch, and then I was a little bit on the forgiving side. I started the exposure like a minute ahead of time, and then also I did an exposure for like 6 minutes instead of probably 3 minutes that you actually need.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to make sure that any math errors I was covered. So give it a little bit of a buffer and see what happens.
Yeah,
it turned out Turned out great.
Oh yeah.
It ended up getting, on my own page alone, I got 3,000 likes. I don't know why.
Dang.
Wow.
I honestly don't know why. It literally just, like, I looked at it and I'm like, what the hell happened? Like, I mean, okay, this is an okay. I don't think this image is that great. It's okay. It's different, but 3,000 likes, which is out of the norm for my page. So I'm like, hey, I'll take it.
And that's your Facebook page you're talking about?
Yeah, my Cold Life page.
Dang.
Yeah.
I think the twig of a tree right there. I don't know. It just adds something to. You know, it'd be great if that was like a launch around Halloween, and that was like a quote unquote spooky launch. That'd be great.
It does look like the cloud that added to a lot of the photos.
Yeah.
Added
that
something
is
weird.
Crazy
to
effect. Yeah.
It added something. It looked like it came down just for the launch. Like it was it kind of looked like a little funnel just for the rocket to go through. And I like this one because I like how it's like you can see the brightness change as it goes higher with like little like triangle.
Well, once it hit that cloud, it like had this huge reflection, and it caused a weird effect on a lot of the images.
I'm a little jealous I didn't go up for it, but I didn't have the time to go up for. I can do a launch around midnight, but I can't do a launch at
This was like 1 a.m. your time.
Yeah. Well, actually, I have done launches at like 2 a.m. and then have made it down for work before. But
no, I have to be picky and choosy. So with something like this, I said, it's just a Starlink. I got to go for the higher profile stuff. In my case,
it's been so long since I've seen a night launch. I did get to see it from down here though. So we were doing a stream for Space Explored with impromptu stream. I don't know why we just were all in a Zoom call watching. What were we watching before? What were we watching?
Starlink?
No, we were. There was another launch that we were all. There was something else that we were all watching together. I can't remember what it was. Oh, Presto for Flight.
Oh yeah. Oh
yeah.
Yeah.
We were in a Zoom call for. I don't remember why we were in a Zoom call, and then
just
we just
brought
Zach. I just invited Zach, and like we just came over, and then we just started a stream. But I got up and left, and for first time in a long time, probably like almost like a year, I've been able to see a launch.
Hashtag streaming shenanigans. That's what that night was. It was good times.
Zero people. It was great.
Oh yeah, good times. Y'all go back and check it out. Look for Space Explored on YouTube. It's there.
It's a space time episode, actually, I believe.
Oh, so, cool.
On the Space Explored YouTube channel. So, did we all bring memes to the table today?
I have something special today.
I looked, but most of mine are political or just not appropriate. So,
thank you.
I don't have one. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's fine.
I couldn't pick one.
That is fine. At least I remembered. We want to. Can I kick you out of? No, I can't. I don't think I can. I was like, can I kick you out of sharing the screen? But I don't know how to. All right, Daryl. Hold on. Let me get my finger on the dump button in case it shows something wrong.
There's no trust here. Good lord.
Dude, you broke it one time. Never again.
No trust here.
No trust.
Yeah. There is. Hold on. Let me get this started. So, I don't know if it'll share the sound, but I think it was yesterday, as a matter of fact. Eric Berger at Sci-Guy Space on Twitter found an absolute gem of a video.
Oh, let me talk about his picture.
No, he found.
Oh yes.
He found this. Apparently, Jim Lovell.
We can't hear the
it's let me turn it down so it's out of my ear. Yeah, Jim Lovell apparently did. No, it's a corporate training video he did for McDonald's, and I haven't had a chance to sit down and watch it all yet. But yes, apparently there's some Apollo 13 references. But the funniest part, for anybody here who's on Facebook, if you're a fan of spaceflight, you're probably in the Space Hipsters Facebook group. Dude, yep. Some of these comments, though, comments were a lot of fun. Main grill, underheat. I did one. I borrowed a quote from the movie. And I said, in the following months, it was determined that a damaged coil inside the ice cream machine sparked during our cryostor that caused the explosion that crippled McDonald's. It was a minor defect that occurred 2 years before I was even named the restaurant's manager.
Oh.
So, yeah.
Man, that's hard. That was hard.
It's such a gem of a video. And, of course, had that mission gone the other way, people would not be making those kinds of jokes, but here we are.
Look at how big those burgers are.
I know, right? They
Back
don't.
when McDonald's made decent sized hamburgers.
It's one of those they don't make them like they used to type of things.
I mean, they don't have astronauts doing their corporate training videos too, so that might be a correlation.
I think
who knows? I think Chris Hadfield is gonna have to hop up on McDonald's training videos now. He's the only one who can do it. He's the only one who can do it.
Maybe once they retire, because this was probably after Jim retired. I mean, this is from 1982. Apollo 13 happened in 1970, and Jim Lovell didn't stick around at NASA for that long afterwards. So, yeah, this is this is after he was out of NASA. He was back working in the private sector, but still had that popularity. And sure enough, there he is. I bet that's $2.20 for a full meal.
That McDonald's back then is like Taco Bell now.
Oh.
You can get for like $2. You can get like an entire buffet.
Oh yeah.
Though I have a beef with Taco Bell because they took my.
Are you Wendy's? Where's the beef?
They don't have the beef either, right? No one has the beef in fast food. They took away my beloved Beefy Fritos burrito, which was like $1.20. And if I want to
Taco Bell, right?
Yeah, Taco Bell, which was the best.
Yeah.
Except you replace it with chicken.
I saw that they removed a whole bunch of things off their menu.
They did a whole bunch. It's
McDonald's
tragic.
did too.
I used to I would buy Taco Bell like late at night when I'm like grinding food. It's real quick. It's like 15 minutes. It's like $5. And I was like, now it's like if I want to actually recreate the Fritos burrito thing, it'll cost me $5 each.
But you could just go to Sonic and get the Fritos chili pot. That's just as good. Yeah.
No, I've had chili once in my life. Once. And that's because it was it was my freshman year.
Man.
We were playing a Catholic school, which we hated because we're Lutheran. Classic stuff, right? Normal stuff. I can't talk about the reasons why. That's a whole nother story. We can talk about that after the stream. But
he's told me that's a different story.
But the school specifically, we didn't like because they would feed us afterwards when we played at their school, and we usually lost to them. So we would have to lose to them, and then we would have to get fed by them. And it was like the coaches would be like, "You're going to be nice. You're going to take this food because they're nice people." And we're like, "We just want to punch them in the face."
And what sport?
Football.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was towards the end of the season. So in Wisconsin, it's frigidly cold because it's also like very late and outside, and I'm frozen because I don't even have I didn't even play the game because I'm a freshman, so I'm literally frozen. And they just give me a warm thing of chili. I don't like beans. I did not care. I literally scarfed that thing down. And
that's the thing. Chili with no beans. That's my thing.
Chili with no beans. Okay, I've had chili with no beans, but I don't call that chili. I call that Cody sauce.
Look, the only beans I'm here for is red beans and rice. That's it.
Okay, you're weird. All right, so
we're from Louisiana.
Yeah.
What do you expect?
Yeah. Let me share my screen and show you my meme. See if I remember how to do this. Oh God, my mouse sensitivity is very high right now. I don't know why. It just went up to 100, and I just.
What did you do?
I don't know what I did, but
it's cool.
Do you guys see it? All right, yes.
Yeah.
It's a transitional. Next, we've had the water tower fly. We've had the grain silo fly. Obviously, the next step is the barn. It's just the only step.
After that, there goes the farm.
Yeah, just the corn, all the individual kinds of corn. I mean, wait.
Why sell your house to buy
We've already had the corn
tomorrow's when you can just have it relocate you while staying inside?
Exactly.
We already had the corn fly because we had the foul corn heavy. And the
Look,
corn.
That's an
Everyday Astronaut Discord joke if you've been in there.
Elon's on track to make that happen because he's already got the power part figured out with the Tesla solar roof and the power wall. I couldn't think of it for a second. He's already got it figured out.
I realized my meme should be sponsored by SpaceX Master Race because that's where 90% of my memes come from. The r/SpaceX Master Race literally gives the best memes. Hands down. Oh, all right. Anyone else got anything to share from today?
Michael, you said you found one?
No, I didn't want to share. I didn't
Okay.
find one.
Totally understandable. Totally understandable. That's cool.
Fine, man. That's all great. Daryl, anything from this last week you want to touch up on?
Oh no, I'm good.
Michael, anything you want to talk about last minute?
I'm trying to think, space news wise, we talked about the Delta IV Heavy offline, with there's supposedly 5 launches left.
Yes,
somewhere around
one,
there. We don't know.
I think one is planned on the 26th of August, early in the morning.
Yep.
I'm super pumped about that
2
one.
2 weeks and 2 days. I checked today because I'm like, how far out is it? All right.
2 weeks and 2 days. I looked too.
I'm like, yes. I can't wait. It's gonna be so great. I haven't seen. It's been 2 years. Yeah, since Parker Solo Probe launched. That's the last time I saw
and
one.
we're also looking at 2 Falcon launches around that time.
Neither
of which are Starlink, surprisingly.
Since Parker Solo Probe launch, have they launched Delta IV Heavy? Did they launch one from Vandenberg?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so.
No.
And did the Delta IV Medium retire after that or before that?
Delta IV.
So they
medium,
have launched a Delta IV since then.
Yeah.
Okay. So they're
the
not
Delta
like
4
2
medium
years.
last launched a year ago.
Yeah, because I was because on Twitter you're looking for it's gonna scrub the first time. It's gonna get pushed back a few days, and it's gonna scrub the first time because
I hope not.
They just don't launch them that often. That there's always something that goes wrong. There's some ground service thing that goes wrong that they have to fix.
August 21st, 2019 is the last Delta IV.
So it's been a year.
Yeah.
It'll be about a year since they've launched Delta.
That was a GPS mission too, I believe.
It was the last GPS 3.
Yeah.
Delta 4 2 medium.
Yeah, I'm gonna screen share real quick. Check this out.
I brought my niece
I remember watching the photos come in from Brady. I think Brady was there. Everyone was there for that because it was the retirement of it all.
Oh,
and,
man, making me jealous, bro.
Look at this. Hold on,
dude. I every time I see a photo of that rocket in that building, I get excited.
It's the most metal rocket because it lights itself on fire before it launches.
It's such a great rocket.
Who's that guy right there? Who's this guy right here? That would be those are the guys. Man, that would have been amazing. Look at how much I was able to zoom in.
I want to be on that pad, as it rolls back. I want to be on the either on the pad or on the building. I want to be on the building.
This structure is just unreal. Look at this thing.
Oh yeah.
Awesome. I so hope we get on for Space Explored for this mission.
I just want to throw out a lawn chair and sit there and watch it roll back. I'll be happy.
Rumor has it there's no remotes for the next Delta IV Heavy.
You know what? I'm okay with remotes, but I mean rollback. I would like to see rollback.
I guess I'm okay with remotes as well.
I've never done remotes. So
the remotes is the creme de la creme, man.
Well, I don't have a setup yet for remotes, so that's why.
Well, okay.
I just need a good Delta IV Heavy.
I don't have an issue with remotes because I personally cannot do remotes because I don't have a MEOPS, I don't have a box, I don't have anything set up planned. So.
Well, when you want to buy a MyOps, you let me know. So anyway.
We plug that one more time throughout the rest by the end of this show.
There you go.
Plug that one more time.
Dude, I mean, I missed I told you I missed the Parker Solar Probe, and this is my opportunity for a remote camera setup potentially for a Delta IV Heavy, but with only potentially 5 launches left of this rocket. And of those 5, we already know 2 of them are going to Vandenberg.
Mm-hmm.
And last time that this rocket launched, I wasn't doing photography. I just was enjoying launches.
Dude, look at this camera right here. Ben Cooper has the best views ever.
I know, right?
Good Lord.
Is that Ben who does that stuff? Even for
it's gotta be
for Vandenberg side and not Vandenberg, sorry, Cape Canaveral side and ULA. I thought he was only for NASA
gosh.
side.
Dude, he's I swear they let him just walk around the entire complex, KSC and
I brought up Astra.
He has carte blanche to just walk around unescorted, do what he wants, put a camera where he wants. Like, that's God as far as launch photography is concerned.
Dude, man, that's just unfeathered access to put cameras pretty much anywhere, and it's unreal.
So I brought up Astra because I was like, it's like John Cross with Astra, and now I have to talk about it. Oh, I'm so disappointed.
Astra didn't happen, but you know what? They've made it to the pad ahead of many other launch providers. They're gonna get there.
At least they didn't blow up.
They'll be fine. Yeah, scrubs, not ruds.
I mean, well, like I said about Alaska, like, why Alaska? Alaska, obviously Florida has a lot of issues,
especially weather,
with weather and hurricanes and all that. I was like, Florida's bad, but Alaska seems to be taking the cake.
I think they chose Alaska, I'm pretty certain, because they would be the only launch provider, and so they could just
polar orbits.
I don't know why they didn't choose. I think Vandenberg, probably would have been too expensive. I think to build, because I think you can't really build a tiny pad like they have out in Alaska.
Yeah,
but they would have to have a much larger pad.
Polar corridor, and plus they're aiming for government contracts, which means spy satellites, which means more coverage of the Earth altogether. So.
And but I think the reason why they went with like Alaska, it's like for the polar site, is like they would be the only one out there, so they would literally have full control over the launch window pretty much. And I'm like, yeah, but as you can see in the last week, you've had a boater scrub a launch, weather boats. Twice scrub a launch in a week.
But this is the second window. Remember, they all went out. Brady went out there and John Krause went out there.
Oh yeah, this is a completely separate launch. This is not the same launch either. This is a different launch.
Yeah,
because they lost that contract.
Yeah,
they didn't launch in time. So this is their reboot, saying like we can actually launch a rocket on time, and they went an entire week without a launch. And I'm like, Astra, I have so much faith. You could do it.
Actually, I know why.
But you lost pressure in your ground, your water deluge system.
Somebody didn't pay the water bill.
Come on! That's, of all things that I would think would scrub a launch, losing pressure in the water deluge system was not on the list.
I know why they're launching out of Alaska. The real reason is because they can't handle Rocket Lab being the only one with an absolutely beautiful view of a launch pad.
Their launch pad.
No kidding, man.
Holy cow! That's awesome. That is really pretty.
The first launch attempt was like all winter. And then now it's like all like summer, and it's like gorgeous. I'm like,
Alaska is a gorgeous area, especially during summer. It's great. I think I was talking with some people on Twitter. We had a conversation about what they have. It's like New Zealand has the sheep. McGregor has the cows. Florida has gators. Wallops probably has something. I don't know what. They probably have mosquitoes terribly as well. Because we're all literally on water, and then Dasha said that mosquitoes are terrible out there, like worse than Florida. What does Alaska
back in February
have?
when I was there?
Like, what does Alaska have?
Bears.
The
big bears.
Caribou.
They have eagle issues. Eagles are rampant in Alaska.
Yep.
Yes.
Because they're protected. They literally are like a nuisance. Really. Yeah. They take over.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard nothing but crazy things about eagles. Like just.
Some guy was talking that he was out that launch site area because it's a camping. It's like a park where you can camp actually, and he says like, yeah, we were driving out there and we were just camping and I heard a bear kill a group of bunnies, and you heard the bear going, you just heard the squealing of the bunnies and all the like a tunk and dead. And I'm like, I can't sleep after that. Thank you very much. That just ruined my life. He's like, oh well, you just get used to it.
How the bunnies are so fast? So like, how would a bear catch the bunny?
I don't want to think about it because I have a feeling it was the bunnies didn't know, and it was a bunch of bunnies inside a hole, which means they're probably baby bunnies.
Isn't there like a Netflix show about that, like Hostile Planet or something like that? It's like the really violent part of nature that they don't show you on the other nature programs. Narrated by the same guy, by the way, that did like Planet Earth and stuff like that.
I don't. There's a bit of it's like Planet Earth being narrated by Snoop Dogg. It's great. It's great. It's
I'm going to find that later.
absolutely great. It's the best YouTube you'll watch.
Jeez.
Because it's Snoop Dogg, so he's high off his head. He's extremely high, and so
Wow.
all right.
Oh, we also talked about Rocket Lab doing their inaugural launch here in Wallops.
Yeah, when is
in
that?
September.
In September. With
September.
September.
Crew
It
One's
was
in
August,
September,
but they shifted it to
and
September.
Crew
They don't have a
1
date
is
yet.
in September.
Crew 1 is in
as well.
September.
Yeah, that's gonna be a crazy launch. That's gonna be
And there's an Antares launch in September as well.
So Daryl,
I was gonna say they've already announced it. Yeah.
Daryl, you might have to go to Wallops, and I'll do Crew 1.
All right, that's fine.
Hey.
I like it up there. It's nice and pretty.
We gotta divvy up the photography deals for Space Explored. We can't be all going to the same launches.
I need to figure out how to apply for credentials up there in Wallops.
Yeah.
I heard it's a little bit more laxed, but I would love to
very
do
laxed.
Antares and
I mean,
Rocket Lab. Oh my gosh.
Places you can go for public area are closer than press site.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
down here in Florida, like you're 3.5 miles down here in Florida, you can get like around 2 miles up there.
Because
Damn.
I went up there in February trying to catch the Antares launch where somebody left like the conference call lines open and you can hear everybody talking that
Hot mic,
weird
hot
launch.
mic.
Yeah. Somebody was like hot mic, and nobody could pick up on it. And yeah, it was close. Let me see if I got one real fast. Nah,
Well, they also you gotta think about they're also smaller rockets, so it's not the same as like being 2 miles from a Falcon 9, though. 2 miles from a Falcon 9. Can't we just talk about that for a second? What would it be like to be 2 miles from a Falcon 9? I mean, or a Falcon Heavy.
I'll do
I'll
it.
sign the waivers.
Is there any more info for Falcon Heavy? I know they say one this year.
That got pushed to next year. It was done this year.
Really?
Mhm.
Oh man.
It was
Who's
like
the provider?
Wait, who's what's the satellite? The customer?
Yeah.
I don't know who the customer was. But I think it got pushed to next year. Like it's like late Q4 this year, which is like it's not gonna happen. By this point, if you don't have a month down at least for your net, it's not gonna happen this year. But we could be surprised. But I'm pretty certain it's all gonna happen next year.
This was how close I got with my 150 to 600 without the 2x extender. This is actually the second attempt that I was out there for. The first attempt got really, really close. I forget why it scrubbed, but you can see it frosting down and the letters down the side of the rocket disappearing. Like that's how close it was. It was insane how close I was. So yeah, I'm completely okay with going to Wallops. I will go back to that super secret spot that I cannot share. If you know about the spot, you know about the spot.
Yeah, if you know about the spot,
you're not going to hear about it from me.
I'll send you a DM.
I think we have.
Going.
I think we will have plenty of Falcon Heavy launches coming up because I think with the NSSL, we'll have a decent amount of Falcon Heavy launches with that.
Yes, and unfortunately, the recent NSSL award kind of puts the future of Omega in doubt.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was hoping for this rocket.
It was the American Vega. Like.
Yeah, I wanted it to work, man.
I wanted to see that Yeet Master yeet off that launch pad like nothing's yeeted before.
Well, we don't know.
Can I fit yeet more in a sentence?
No.
When it's solid everything, the only word you can use is yeet. It's the only word
you've yeeted that sentence enough.
Yeah. and Air Force and the Space Force and Air Force yeeted Omega out of the contract.
Hopefully Omega survives, though. I think they had 1 or 2 commercial payloads, so
yeah, it was
hopefully
supposed
they'll
to
at least see it
do national space launches, national security space launches as primary funding, and then find some stuff on the side.
Yeah.
I think I heard on NSF Live that they actually suspended operations with it.
I did not hear.
Just paused that. Maybe I might have misheard, but I thought they said that. Because there's nothing for it. I mean, there might be a few side projects, but if that can't fund it, they're taking up a high bay in the VAB. They're taking a why does Matt Cushall want me to ask you about UTC?
UTC.
Oh. Don't worry about all that.
Yeah,
Wait.
no.
Not on this show. Matt started something.
Well, that's your beef with UTC.
It was a feature that I requested on Flight Club to select whatever time zone you want, and some people preferred only UTC.
Wow.
I think I remember that conversation. I think actually.
I keep it short, but
No,
UTC was a constant reminder, like, oh, UTC only, UTC. I'm like, all right.
No, I've got a UTC clock like as a widget on my phone, and that's it. That's all I need.
I know.
happy
I'm
with
like,
that.
when I look at my watch is not in UTC. Like, why can't we just have an option to select our time zone, so then I can do some better planning in Flight Club? You know,
I think so.
it was just a
Exactly.
simple
real photographer
request.
Use UTC. Like
Yeah,
there were some burns in there in the Discord. I think I remember
Look,
that.
I've got my watch on Celsius, and that's enough conversion for me. Like I'm good with that.
Yeah, one issue I have with metric is like with metric as a whole, like is I can't understand kilometers or meters because everything I have is miles, right? Like I know
Right.
how when you talk about how 100 miles, you can realize how far 100 miles is. One, because I know how far 190 miles is because that's how far I drive for every lunch. But like the biggest issue is that I don't drive, and I don't use kilometers per hour. So that's kind of how I know how long miles are because I can like a mile driving this how many miles an hour is gonna take me this long. So but like kilometers I can't. It's like I understand it, but I don't comprehend it.
Right. Exactly. That's a good way to explain it.
Yeah. But you got to remember, you got folks like our buddy Harry who's lurking in metric.
Lurks in metric. Like I just want us to switch the metric. Like I just want to do it, and then us drive at kilometers per hour, and us like the only thing is like we need to keep the foot somehow. We need a metric foot. We need a metric foot because otherwise I don't want to say like, oh, that's 60 centimeters. Like no, I want like a foot and a half.
Dude, that's gonna be chaos, dude. I don't see. I would love for it to happen.
We need
I don't
a
think
metric
it's gonna.
foot. Like 100 centimeters is a meter, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. It's been a while. All right, I'm a little rusty. All right, and I haven't done it since like high school. I haven't done conversions like that in high school.
Okay, let's get away from that. Let me ask you a question. You guys are up to date with the news. Tell me where we are with Artemis and Orion. Like where are we at?
It's happening. Maybe
I know that, but like when do they have some time frames, estimations?
I think
when they're because I know Artemis 1 is just gonna is Artemis 1 just gonna go and come back to the moon?
Artemis
like orbit it?
Similar,
yeah.
Artemis 1 will be similar to was it EFT 1?
No, Artemis 1 is gonna orbit the moon.
It's gonna go to the moon. That's right. Okay.
Yes.
And then Artemis 2. Artemis 2 is going to have what? Astronauts orbit the moon and come back?
It'll be crewed out to the moon, further than the moon, actually. Like, they'll be the furthest we've sent astronauts ever.
Yes.
And then it'll come back.
I heard that.
I don't think it'll orbit the moon. It'll just go, like, past the moon and come back. So, like a free return trajectory on the moon.
And then 3 is the actual landing attempt, right?
Is it 3 the landing? Is it 4 the landing?
I believe 3...
I think 3's... Yeah, 3's the landing, I think.
Yeah.
I think. Maybe.
So when do we have timelines on Artemis 1?
All they're waiting on is the core stage to get the green run tested.
So as far as the core stage goes, that's a little closer to home for me, literally.
So I'm going to take over it all and talk about it because I don't know anything about it.
Go ahead.
Nope. All you.
So the core stage, there have been tweets about it. It is it's been at Stennis since January, right over in Mississippi, which is a stone's throw from where I live and where it was built. It is going through all of its checkouts. They're looking for what they call the hot fire. We all know as static fire. Thank you, SpaceX. I've seen estimates put it happening in October as far as the static fire at Stennis goes, and that's going to be a full tank up,
It's like
8 minute, 8.5 minute
yeah.
run.
Yep.
It's going to be firing all 4 RS-25s for full 8 minutes. And then once it's done, they're going to say it's okay and truck it over to Florida and put it together. As far as the launch after that,
I think they've already. So when they start stacking SRBs, that's how we know that the launch is going to happen within a few months, I believe.
yeah.
Because they have like a stack life of only like, I think it's like 6 months, 3 or 6 months. Chris B mentioned this because it's something from Shuttle. That the shuttle, once they stack the shuttle SRBs first. And
you mean like stack the component, the individual pieces
the different segments.
Okay.
Yeah, they don't put them all in one and then make them vertical. They stack them all vertical, and then there's Zach Hall, aka Space Explorer. There we go. Thanks, bud.
He had to switch accounts.
Yeah,
for
the
that.
official
Thank you.
Space Explorer YouTube channel.
Yes.
I noticed that too. Yeah.
I do the same thing on Pressing for Flight because I have access to the Rudd's YouTubes. I'll switch back and forth sometimes between my.
I'll do it on Twitter with our thing.
Oh yeah, he's roasted me on Twitter through both accounts, and so they'll stack the segments, and then they have so long after they start stacking them that they have to launch, and so that's.
Did not know that one.
I don't know. I have to. One day, Chris B mentioned it in one of his live streams. It's like 3 or 6 months, I think they have before they. I don't know what they have to do. I don't know if they have to unstack them and refurbish it or get brand new booster segments. But whenever they start doing that, though, I think they have the bottom segments stacked, which you can do already there.
Yeah.
There's already SRBs inside of VAB, what I've heard from NASA is that now that there's SRBs in the VAB, no unauthorized personnel. And like
actually,
no press. Well, maybe not press. Maybe if press would go up the roof, they can do it, but no.
Maybe like escorted.
I don't. Yeah, but socials. They said socials wouldn't be allowed in there afterwards.
Yeah.
So
which they're not being allowed in there right now, anyway.
I can't imagine press would be allowed in.
And actually, funny story about those SRBs when they got trained over to Florida. Was it like a month or two ago?
Mm-hmm. I remember that.
Included in that train was also the SRB segments for the first Omega.
Mm.
Which everybody was focused on the SLS SRBs. Nobody noticed that the Omega ones were on there, but they were on there.
I'm trying to think. They had test segments on there as well, I believe. Like they were dummy segments. I don't remember those the Omega segments or not. If they were dummy segments or actual segments.
I believe they were actuals.
Yeah, but I think they also had a few dummy segments too. I'm not sure.
It was a mix because there's going to be more components transported by train for Omega. So those were I believe, the dummy segments. Maybe. At this point.
I'm sad. I like Omega.
No.
So, and then obviously, we got the Boeing is going to do another
orbital flight test.
OFT, yep.
That's probably not. That's going to be after Crew 1.
Oh, way after.
Yeah, SpaceX is going to lap them, which is kind of sad.
Yeah.
But
it's amazing their timeline because if you think about it, had SpaceX not had the test anomaly last year after Demo 1, Demo 2 would have happened like end of last year, something like that. Like a ridiculously long time ago.
Imagine if they just used normal, because like with the test anomaly they were trying to do this like different type of like valve, right? I believe it was like it was a different valve. They would have just used and they switched it to be like a normal valve. And they would have just used the normal valve right off the way instead of trying to be like, we're gonna reinvent this or not reinvent it, but use something different. They would have been done or gone.
Here's the crazy thing about that timeline is, SpaceX would have had Demo 1 and Demo 2 done within a year. Mm-hmm. If you look at the preliminary timeline that Boeing or somebody put out for the Starliner stuff, they got to fly another OFT, then they got to fly their crewed demo, and then their official crewed flight. The timeline is so much longer than what the SpaceX one should have been. Like a lot longer. It's ridiculous. So I'm a little surprised about that. Like they can't make it happen a little faster.
I'm okay with more. I like Atlas launches, so I'm totally for it.
Oh yeah, who doesn't love Atlas launches? This is not about Atlas.
I love watching
it's the Starliner launch.
To me, it's like they already gave SpaceX the approval to reuse a booster for crewed launches. Like what? Like
and reuse the crew capsule
immediately
in the capsule. Yeah,
they're probably gonna as long as everything goes well with Crew 1. and with the rest of the tests with the demo too. I don't know. They might still be testing stuff like Data was. We might be they might be reflying a booster and a capsule before Boeing gets to refly a capsule. Because that was the one thing that Boeing had over SpaceX, which was actually surprising that they were going to be reflying their capsules and not SpaceX.
They said the Dragon capsule was designed to be reused anyway, just like the cargo ones. You knew it was an eventuality that it was going to happen.
It was eventually going to happen, but Boeing came out of the bat with it.
Yeah.
I think it's too similar to the shuttle. I think there's issues like with the tile system. Because you can kind of look. The tile system looks a little similar to the shuttle, and I'm sure they've probably improved it by a factor of like 1,000 probably since the shuttle. But I feel like there's probably something in there where they were taking too long. It still takes too long than what the Pika X that SpaceX makes. But
I had a thought for crewed launches, especially when everything's getting reused. The boosters get all nice and crispy and spicy.
Mm-hmm.
The same thing with the capsules too. That second stage has nothing going for it. Why not paint the crew patch onto the second stage?
They should.
If they could do that stuff with fairings, why not paint it right onto the second stage? Give the second stage some love.
Harry did
let it show off the crew patch.
Harry brought something up, which I'm Team Space, but you know what? Dream Chaser, 100%.
Oh yeah.
If I don't mind Dream Chaser replacing Dragon and Starliner, because I just want to see this land.
With the Dream Chaser, it's the same thing I said about the X-37B. When a mama space shuttle and a daddy space shuttle love each other very much,
but it's smaller. It's like when it's never mind. Can't do that.
And on that note,
all right. Anything else you want to talk about? You want to plug my apps one more time, Michael?
Yes, if you guys want to buy my apps, let me know.
Hit Michael up.
Absolutely.
All right.
I'm ready to buy 2 of them. We going to chat off to the side.
I'll give you the link. Yes.
And with that said, if you guys are watching, thank you so much. If you guys are listening, thank you so much. If you guys are still watching or listening, why? I don't know why. What did we never do? Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, ding down that little bell, make it go ding. I don't know why I said that. And leave a review if you're listening. Helps us out greatly. And we'll see you guys all next week.
Bye.